Welcome to the morning nerdy news. We've got lots of updates and we're going to get right into it. So first off, I am your host, Gray Falcon, and we do this Monday through Friday, typically at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go ahead and get these uploaded on YouTube afterwards, and from there, you'll be able to watch them anytime. So make sure you check that out as well as Gray Falcon over there, GRAY_Falcon. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. And first off, I do want to point out that PlayStation 5 is here. Big boy. Yeah. So, if you want to learn anything more about that, make sure send some questions over. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know over on Twitter as the Gray Falcon if you have any questions. So far, been playing lots and lots of Demon Souls. I've hit up the PlayStation Plus collection, and I have been having a great time with this. In addition to being over on Destiny, playing that primarily on PC. So, let me know if any questions you have. I will look into it. So far, I have not experienced any of the problems that have really been mentioned. However, I have run into one weird thing with the PlayStation 5. And what that is loading. So, I don't know what's going on, but if you play games for a while and then you switch users to let someone else play that same game under their own profile, it's giving this weird long loading screen. So on Demon Souls, we were playing it. My son was having a blast. I let him play it most of Sunday while I watched football. And then I went to get on later on, and it was just stuck in this loading screen. And he said, yeah, I had that just before dinner where it got stuck there and it didn't come in. And then when I went on, it was having that issue as well. So I went in, I restarted the system completely. Closure of everything, closed the apps, then shut down the system. And that fixed it. Nothing else took care of it but a full shutdown and restarted the system. So this seems to be kind of consistent with other issues that people are talking about with having SSD issues, having rebuild problems, all stuff related to the actual hard drive setup, solid state drive setup that is within the system. So we'll keep you updated on that. Hopefully Sony is going to get an update soon on what's going on with that. And we do have other news related to that where PS5 brick consoles and other issues are being reported. Rest mode and HDD seemingly to be the main culprits. So there's a whole article that breaks down this, but apparently there's also issues with external drives being hooked up to the system and the system not running well because it thinks, oh, PlayStation 4 game. So we're going to go ahead and run this. Oh, wait, I'm not a PS4. Something's wrong here. I better check my system information to make sure that I'm actually able to run these games. And I don't know. It makes me wonder if Sony rushed the backwards compatibility because they were getting so much flack from it from the Xbox side because they have everything that was backwards compatible all the way back to the original Xbox for the most part. And then they are trying to get this pushed out. So we have this whole scenario where I think they tried to rush backwards compatibility, and rather than focusing on a few games and making sure everything ran the way it needed to, they are causing more problems than they were expecting. Over on the Xbox side, though, nothing is really receiving a whole lot of complaints over there, but they did say that they had the biggest launch in Xbox history, all thanks to you. And it just goes in talking about how they've sold more consoles than any prior generation, with the Xbox Series S adding the highest percentage of new players for any Xbox console at launch. So the $300 console is really what's making a huge dent in this. And then we also had Nintendo Switch talking about how October was their biggest month ever as well. So again, right at that $300 price mark. So it seems that $300 price point is a big push for a lot of gamers, and that's not surprising. A lot of people want the new features, but they don't care as much about getting that top end performance. They just want to be able to play the games faster and have it run as smooth as possible. And with that one, you still have access to an external SSD or a hard drive just for a standard, hard drive that can plug in, and it'll run great. And so this is really something that Microsoft has put a lot of time into a lot of thought into, so it's good to see that everything is running for the most part well over there. However, we do have other game-breaking bugs, and Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. Now, this is not console specific. Apparently, they are having issues where players are losing access to saved game files. It thinks the files are corrupt, and this has been platform agnostic. It doesn't matter if you're on PlayStation 4, 5, if you're over on the Xbox One or Xbox Series X or S. This is apparently something that is going on with their software and having issues. So if you get a pop-up where your save file is corrupt, maybe make sure that you are regularly uploading that into Cloud Save, because that might be the only way that you can really ensure that this isn't going to break your game. And that's just one of those extra bonuses, one of those extra things that if you pay for Xbox Live, if you pay for PlayStation Plus, it just gives you that little bit of extra confidence that your game's going to be there and you're not suddenly going to lose it or have it disappear because of that. Other gaming news, where we have a leak of Resident Evil Village to release on April 2021 DLC. This comes from, well, pretty much a terrible situation. Capcom is dealing with a third party that has, they're trying to force them to pay them $1 million. They're being blackmailed, or they're going to release this terabyte of information that they have stolen from them. Well, Capcom said, no, we're not going to give you any money. So then they released 60 gigs of the information that they have, and some of that information included release dates for video games and other information that, may or may not be as pertinent. Most of it has to deal with prior games, maybe getting re-ups or information that is related to things that we kind of already know about. So a lot of that so far has not been super detrimental, but they're kind of like saying, pay us, we can now prove that here's what we have. Don't make us release the rest of this information. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, Capcom is still saying no. And this person is probably going to get caught, probably going to jail for a long time. And I would not expect anything good out of this from the person who's doing this. And they're claiming to have personal information on employees. And if that becomes the case, if that's an issue, that is going to become an even bigger problem. And Capcom is going to probably get in trouble for not securing its personnel data well enough, in addition to this person getting into even bigger trouble for gaining access and possibly for peddling or, illegally obtaining personal information that they should not have. I'm sure there are quite a few things that they could be charged with on that. So watch out for that type of thing, and hopefully this all gets settled without any major issues going forward. All right, and then we're over into the hardware news. We have another problem, and in this case it's over on Apple's side, where Mac OS Big Sur update is bricking some older MacBook Pros. Now, these are specifically the 2013 and 2014 MacBook Pros. The 13-inch seems to be the most susceptible for some reason. Not sure why the 13-inch versus, a 15-inch or one of the larger models would have a difference in this overall. But for whatever reason, it's currently bricking their systems and causing all kinds of problems. So if you have one of these older 2013-14 MacBook Pros, don't go updating at this point. We're going to have to wait and see what Apple does to actually fix this problem first. And then into some graphic card news. Over on NVIDIA, we have the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti custom graphics cards pictured and listed. So this is for the Inno 3D iChill X3 and MSI and Zotac series. So we'll just scroll down. I'm not going to go into the specs. A lot of the information is just kind of what's already been there before. This was leaked over on video cards initially and being re-reported by WCCF Tech, where they give a little bit of additional information on top of what was provided by video cards. But primarily just want to get a look at these different GPUs. So we can see here we have the iChill, which 3 fans set up on it. I guess We'll see if this actually is a chill card later on, or if this is just, them marketing and showing 3 fans. But keep in mind that the fans are not the only thing that matters in cooling. The heat pipes, the fins, how everything is laid out, all the way down to the thermal pads and paste that are used can make a difference. So don't buy something based off of the marketing of iChill until it actually gets a third-party review to say whether or not it actually is going to be as cool as it says it is, or if you can pay down and still get better cooling just on, the Founders Edition, or some other third-party model that just does a better job of investing in the cooling and maintaining of that card. And then we also have the Twin X2OC by Inno3D, and it's just a standard 2 cooling fan card, very plain, very basic. I would not expect this one to cost a whole lot more in comparison to the Founders Edition. And there's just a general list of all of the cards that are going to be available from MSI and Asus. And just it goes down, it goes into rumored information. So we're not going to go down and get into that. I believe we've already covered most of that last week. And then over for EVGA, we have their 3090 and 3080 graphics cards getting their hydro copper and hybrid flavors designed for water cooling enthusiasts. The copper has the pins that come in and you connect in through there, and that's how you keep your card cooled for a custom water cooling situation where you don't have to go out and buy like a third-party cooler and set it up and hook it up yourself. It'll come pre-installed, ready to go, and you'll get EVGA's warranty on the card. So if something does go wrong inside of the block for the water and causes damage, you'll be covered and be able to go in and replace that under that warranty, rather than having to risk putting your own on there by taking the shroud off and set it up yourself, and risking something going wrong and not having your warranty covered. But we come down here and we do get pricing. So the 3090 Hydro Copper is going to run you $1,849.99. So $350 premium effectively, to go up to the For the Win 3 water-cooled 3080, where the For the Win 3 gets a bump to $849.99. This is not the For the Win 3 Ultra, though, so keep that in mind. This is not listed as the higher of the two for these. It is just listed as the For the Win 3, so it doesn't have that pre-baked in overclocking setup on those. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll down and look at the actual hybrid cards as well. Again, no For the Win 3 Ultra here. This is just the For the Win 3. Any overclocking, anything special that you do, you're going to have to do yourself, with it coming in at $1,800 for the hybrid on the 3090 for the For the Win 3, or at $1,619.99 if you are going to be using the normal hybrid for the XC3. And then again, we also have the 3080 variants where it's $820 and then another $880 respectively. Hybrid card, more setup. I love the hybrid card. On my 980 Ti, it kept things way quieter than the fan setup. I've got the fan setup over here right now, and aside from all the issues that I had everything getting this set up with, and I had a power supply that met the requirements, and the only way I could keep it running with that power supply was to have the fans blasting and making a ton of noise. I've since actually replaced the power supply with a higher version, and it's gotten a lot quieter. The fans no longer have to run as high, and it's staying significantly cooler. I don't know why that is, but for whatever reason, that has made all the difference in this setup and allowing this to run quieter. So if you have any issues with your 3080 where it's bottlenecking out at a 750 watt power supply, go ahead and give it that bump up, and you might be able to run it cooler with less problems. Now, hopefully this stays true, because I missed 2 days last week. One of those was specifically because of those problems, and just keep an eye on that, because I am using an EVGA For the Win 3 Ultra, and going up in power supply ended up being the decision, at least as of right now. It looks like the decision that made all the difference. However, I did think I thought fixed these issues before, and a week later they came back. So I'll keep you posted. Hopefully this time it's finally resolved. And then finally, in tech news, we have UK might ban sales of fossil fuel cars as early as 2030. So California has already done this in the US, where auto manufacturers have 10 years before fossil fuel cars have to be removed. And UK is currently looking into this as well. So if you are living in the UK or anywhere at this point, it looks like 2030 might end up becoming the target date for a lot of countries to adjust things and make everything required to be electric for any new cars or sale of used cars. So keep that in mind, that if you have a car now, what you buy now may make a big difference into whether or not you can sell that vehicle in 10 years if you're someone that likes to hold on to your car for a long time and make sure you can get the most out of it. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, if you haven't already, click the follow button. If you're over on YouTube, click the subscribe button, and follow me on Twitter as The Gray Falcon. Until next time, have a good one.